Hey YouTube, it's Cantaloupa. If you want more MotoAmerica content, check out the new and vastly improved MotoAmerica Live Plus app. It's the only place you can catch all the race action in one place all season long. Click the link in the description below.
Selection from Dunlop. We're going to be talking about that after we talk about the starting grid as Cameron Beaubier goes 122.446 for pole.
Yeah, and he was on a quick lap too this morning, even more than that. Baz, Gagne, Peterson, Herrin, and SDK are going to round out row number 2. Bobby Fong, Gillum, and JD Beach. Gillum on that Honda. It's nice to see him doing so well. Flores, Posh, and Bryce Prince are going to go through row 4 there. Benjamin Smith, Flinders, and Ashton Yates. And then we have Ezra Beaubier, Andrew Lee, and Nolan Lampkin on row 6. A little further back, Wyatt Ferris, Jason Waters, and Richard Kerr. Good to see Richard over here. Ireland's Stock 1000 champion from Britain. Campbell Lewis and Giannato are going to be there on row 8. Camacho Sierra, Alex Arango, Miguel Segura, John Knowles, and Bobby Davis.
When they go red, revs will go up. When they're off, we're racing. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
What a launch.
Start.
What a launch by Cameron Beaubier. That thing just took off out of the blocks like he was going for a gold medal.
And both attack Yamahas got tremendous starts. Cam Peterson actually came from that second row, got himself into second, got past his teammate going there into turn 1. The guy at the front, though, is the guy that they got to watch out for, Greg. Look at him. He's already trying to stretch this lead out. Peterson is going to do what he can to go with him. Remember, it was just a couple short years ago, Cam Peterson worked really hard on his first lap speed, and that's going to have to come into play right now because Cam Beaubier is trying to get away from this field. We have both Ducatis in 4th and 5th with Baz and Herrin, and I believe that's SDK just back there in 6th behind them.
Cameron Beaubier choosing the R3 front, R5 rear, as opposed to Jake Gagne. Same combination for him, and that's the choice early on, even though it's Cam Peterson on the 45. Attack Performance, Progressive Yamaha. So those two are in 2nd and 3rd, and we know that Cam P has won a race here. It was in the rain a few years ago, but it's the Tyler Cycle BMW right now of Cameron Beaubier, who is not messing around.
Did you see how sideways that bike got out over the paint? And Cam Peterson's done a nice job, I think, Greg, to try to keep Cameron Beaubier somewhat in check here, but this is not what the rest of the field wants to see as Bobby Fong goes up underneath Sean Dillon Kelly in that last corner, the number 50 on the R1 there. 2 different lines there between those two Yamahas. Gagne is much tighter all the way through up that long right-hander. Oh, Cam Beaubier's crashed, Greg.
Wow. Pushing the issue as hard as you like it out front, and unfortunately a huge mistake for Cameron Beaubier.
This is probably, you know, in this area of the track where he's at, he's coming off of a right-hander leading into a left. Off the inside of the bike, there it is. He's gonna get high, just low sides it. He's lucky that bike didn't spin back around on him as it got very loose on the exit there. And you got to remember, Greg, when these guys are tearing off like he was, what a tremendous couple laps he was having. But he's on the edge, and they are on the electronics when they go from turns 1 to turn 2. As they go into turn 5, they look pretty identical here. And now you can see, look at Herrin. He's trying to ride around the outside of Loris Baz. That's going to be a tough place to do it.
Last time we saw Loris Baz, injury for him. Hannah, what's the update?
It's definitely warm. So, again, for SDK, he needs to try to make a move as Josh Herrin slides it back up underneath him. He's going to run wide, though. So that was the case of Herrin just getting in there a little bit deep and letting go of the lever. He probably didn't want to put himself in that gray area getting up alongside. He wants to try to get by his teammate without ruffling too many feathers, but he's got to make a move. He's looking like he's trying to set Loris up as he goes into turn 2. You can see him setting that up very early. He stood that bike up quickly, did Josh Herrin. Now he's going to go after SDK. If he can get out of here halfway decent, let's see what he does.
There goes Herrin up the inside. He's got the bike turned. He gets on the throttle, and he gets a good acceleration down the straightaway. Does the 40 get it squared up as they head to turn number 1? And it's going to be Herrin who takes over the spot. So 3rd to Josh when he came across the stripe, JP. Racecraft move.
SDK goes to the inside of, I believe that's Alex Arango. So another top pro rider there.
His team owner.
Yes, team owner. That's exactly right. So I can't almost even tell who's who looking out the window here. So with a lap and a half to go, as SDK is taking a shot, let's see if he can get that bike stopped. He does. SDK does a tremendous job getting that bike in there. You can see they are also going to have a couple of back markers that they're going to be coming up on.
White flag out for Cameron Peterson. Is he going to be able to hold off Jake Gagne as 3rd place comes across the line? And Josh Herrin's still there in 4th place, and we know Herrin's definitely going to throw a shot at the 40. So up and over the hill we go. If Gagne has something, now's the time to do it.
Cam's good into turn 5, Greg. He's so good down into that spot that Gagne just wasn't close enough. And that's because of how good he is out of turn 2. Look at the 2 different lines again. Cam lets that bike run, land a big dark piece of rubber from Dunlop on the ground there. And through this little area, Cam's extremely good again. Like, this is another spot where he'll just gain a couple of tenths, couple of bike lengths over Jake Gagne. So for Cam Peterson, he's opened up that gap ever so slightly. Now he's just got to watch his P's and Q's coming through here, Greg. He's got to hold a tight line down into this next left. He has broken Gagne on the last lap, and when they go through this big long right-hander, the 45, all Cam's got to do is keep it tight through this whole little last section. But he doesn't know it right now, but he's broke Gagne on this last lap.
This is the race that Cameron Peterson has been looking for since he got onto the Attack Performance Progressive Yamaha team. A dry race, head-to-head with the national champion. And coming onto the front straightaway, the South African, full gas mode as he comes to the line. It is going to be Cameron Peterson who takes the checkered flag, and a monumentous victory by 0.4 of a second. And Josh Herron was able to get around Sean Dillon Kelly and take 3rd spot as SDK a solid 4th, and Loris Baz hurt in 5th as we await the arrival of Xavi Flores in 6th place. But how about that race? And I told you, Jake Gagne would be happy for his teammate. What a performance under extreme pressure the entire race distance, and Cameron Peterson gets it done. Here's a look at those results. 0.4 of a second. Herron able to get by SDK at the end. Loris Baz, hope he's okay. Sure, he's in a bit of pain, but great result for Xavi Flores in 6th. JD Beach.
That wrist injury, and you know, my brother Nicky went through that same wrist thing, and same thing happened to him. I mean, it was a long road to come back, and it was tough. And for Cam, it's just great to see him come here and get that win. And if anybody deserves it, it's definitely Cam P. He put a lot of work in this offseason to get himself back. Even through winter testing, I heard there were some struggles with the wrist. They didn't know. They did set out the Daytona 200 with still questions about the wrist. So for him to come in and not only get that win, but the way he won it,